Ever superstitious, pirates traditionally believed it was bad luck to let a woman aboard a ship. Despite this, piracy wasn't meant for just men. For centuries, female pirates also commanded ships and served on the crew, and some even became pirate legends in their own right. So let's take a look at some of history's most infamous female pirates. Sayyida al-Hurra. Sayyida al-Hurra, whose name translates as Lady who is free and independent, a title given to Muslim women in power, was born in the late 1400s around the time the Muslim kingdom of Granada fell to the Spanish monarchy. Wealthy families, including Sayyida al-Hurras, fled to North Africa to escape oppression and forced conversion to Christianity. In the early 1500s in modern-day Morocco, she used her fleet to get revenge against the Spanish. In North Africa, Sayyida al-Hurra married the leader of a city-state, Tetuan, which had been sacked decades earlier by the Castilians. The power couple worked to restore and re-inhabit the city. Sayyida al-Hurra took full control when her husband died in 1515. Once the region was in her power, she reached out to a privateer to learn how to take revenge against her Spanish enemies. For the next 20 years, she ruled the Western Mediterranean as the commander of a terrifying fleet of pirates. Her pirates dominated the Mediterranean, where she had an alliance with the Turkish corsair, Barbarossa. Sayyida al-Hurra was an undisputed leader and fierce female pirate. Her pirating by proxy lasted until she agreed to marry the Sultan. However, she was soon deposed, possibly by one of the Sultan's sons, and lost control of both her city and pirate armada, much to the relief of her enemies. Lady Mary Killigrew. Another fearsome pirate of the Elizabethan era, Mary Wolverston, or Lady Killigrew, was known for her pirate activities along the Cornish coast. Mary was the daughter of a Lord Philip Wolverston, a former pirate. She later married Sir Henry Killigrew, a pirate who was later made a vice admiral by Queen Elizabeth I. While Henry was employed to uphold maritime law, some ex-pirates were engaged as privateers, sailing under the favor of the crown to amass illicit profits for England. Mary was known to be a champion of her husband's criminal activities. She redesigned their home at Arwenack Castle to hide stolen goods, cut deals with smugglers, and raided ships. It was thought that the Queen turned a blind eye to this and even pardoned her in later life. Anne Bonny. Born around 1690 in Ireland, Anne Bonny became a notorious pirate operating in the Caribbean. Born as an illegitimate child to a lawyer in Belfast, she would immigrate to America as an adult, where she married a sailor in 1718 and joined him on his travels to the Caribbean. Here she met and fell for the famous pirate Jack Rackham. Abandoning her husband for Jack, they soon became somewhat a pirate power couple, marrying at sea and having a son in Cuba. Their piracy career was soon the stuff of legends, raiding various ships and obtaining masses of treasure, including the capture of the major vessel Revenge. But the good times were over by 1720, when Rackham, Anne, and their crew was attacked and captured by a king's ship, under commission from the governor of Jamaica. While Rackham was sentenced to be hanged, Anne was spared after pleading for mercy due to being pregnant. There is no historical record of her release or life after her arrest, but there are some theories that her father may have ransomed her and returned her to her first husband. Mary Read. Part of Anne's and Jack's pirate crew, Mary Read, began life disguised as a boy in a bid to scam her grandmother into believing she was her dead half-brother. In her early adult life, she continued her disguise, taking on several male-dominated roles, including that of a soldier and a merchant sailor. She turned to piracy after one of the ships she was working on as a sailor was invaded. Eventually, she joined the pirate ship and crew of Jack Rackham, where she befriended Anne and revealed herself to be a woman. During her time with them, She gained a fierce reputation and was widely respected as being just as a capable fighter and swordswoman as any of her male counterparts. Her time with Anne and Jack's crew was short-lived, as after only a few months she too was captured by the king's ship. Jacqueline Delahaye. What we know of Jacqueline Delahaye comes from oral storytelling. She is believed to have been born in Saint-Domingue in 1630 as the daughter of a French father and a Haitian mother who died in childbirth. As a young woman struggling to survive, Jacqueline took to piracy. She was said to be fairly ruthless, faking her own death and often pretending to be a man. Aged 26, Jacqueline and her crew took over a small Caribbean island called Tortuga, known as the Freebooter Republic. Interestingly, there are no contemporary sources describing her adventures, but stories about Jacqueline appear after she died during a shootout on Tortuga in 1663. Cheng Yi. Cheng Yi is considered one of the most successful pirates in history, and her legend lives on. Her name, which roughly translates to wife of Cheng Yi, doesn't reflect the cunning woman who had everyone at her mercy. Historians believe she was born in 1775 in Canton, and little is known about her life before marrying Cheng Yi in 1801. He was already a notorious pirate, and his new wife helped make his fleet even fiercer. After her husband died in 1807, Cheng Yi took command of the family pirating business. She expanded her armada to as many as 60,000 men divided into 6 fleets. The fleets had around 400 ships, and they were organized into a color-coded flag system. No navy was successful in stopping Cheng Yi, and her pirates ruthlessly plundered merchant ships and raided wealthy villages. She also set up protection schemes in which fishing boats in intercoastal waters paid a fee to avoid harassment. The Chinese government tried for years to take down this unsinkable pirate queen. Eventually, they realized they could never beat her, so they would have to buy her out. Cheng Yi named her steep terms, ability to keep their looted wealth, pensions, resettlement money, and a job for her new husband. The government agreed in 1810. Her second husband died in 1822, and historians don't agree on what happened to her. Some say she ran a lucrative gambling den. Others say she made money as the owner of a brothel. It's also been suggested that Cheng Yi made her own money smuggling opium. Either way, she seems to have died as a wealthy woman. Jean de Clisson. Jean de Clisson was a Breton noblewoman who raided ships for the French and later the English during the 100 Years' War. After her husband was tried and executed for treason, she switched sides and fought with the English, raiding French castles as well as merchant and military vessels. Legend has it that de Clisson was given 3 warships which she painted black and named her flagship My Revenge. De Clisson spent 13 years plundering French vessels and was thought to be quite brutal, leaving few sailors alive. For this, she earned the moniker the Lioness of Brittany. Rachel Wall. Rachel Wall's legacy is steeped in mystery, but if we are to believe the myths, she was the first American woman to become a pirate. Born around 1760 in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, she ran away from home as a teenager and met and married fisherman George Wall. Fearing a life subjected to poverty, they turned to crime in 1781 by forming a small gang and operating a scam off the coast of New England. Their scam involved pretending that their ship was in danger and killing and robbing their rescuers. In a space of a year, they murdered 24 sailors and collected $6,000. Their luck ran out in 1782 when a storm ravaged their boat and killed George. She continued leaving on land, but was arrested in 1789 for attacking and robbing a woman. During her time in prison, she confessed to all her crimes apart from murder, but there was enough evidence mounted against her to sentence her to death by hanging. She was the last woman in Massachusetts to be executed. Grace OMalley. Grace OMalley is one of the earliest known female pirates, born around 1530 in Ireland and growing up to lead a 20-ship fleet. Born into an established clan in the west of Ireland, Grace inherited her father's successful shipping and trading business, making her a wealthy and powerful woman. She continued her family's traditional business model of attacking and plundering English and Spanish ships and claiming their booty for her own. Many legends surround her fighting spirit, including that she returned to battle at sea only a day after giving birth. Grace also met with Elizabeth I, requesting that her 2 sons, captured by the English, to be released. They agreed to various demands on both sides, but when Grace felt that Elizabeth didn't uphold her entire side of the deal, she ignored all further demands, and she and her sons continued to rebel against the English and attack their ships. So what do you think of these female pirates? Did they live up to the name? Comment down in the section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.